The following program is rated TV MALV. It contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audience.
Make sure. Check. Ooh, hold on. Check. All right, good, perfect. What? All right, go tell mommy. Kids. Hey, salute. Hey, hold on, let me do this again. Y'all, this is a special edition of TTB After Dark. I want to salute. I appreciate that, Just Jay. This is a special occasion because Thursday night I went to go see the Odyssey, which I'm about to do a review in a couple minutes. Hold up. Matt, no. Hold up. I'm on stream. Close the door. Go in there and close the door. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I gotta lock the door. Hold on. Man. It's crazy. You would think, hold on, put my headphones on. Kids ain't come here all day. When I start streaming, they jump up in here. Don't want to show my kids out here. All right, back to regular schedule program, man. Today is July 18, 2026. This is TTB After Dark, episode 62, an Odyssey of content. And basically what we're gonna go through. Yeah, she wanted to come see daddy. All of a sudden, like they ain't came in here the whole time. I've been here for a couple hours. It's funny, but anyway, back to the subject. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the Odyssey. We got some election news situation going on, and we'll talk about that. Let's see, it's a lot of election stuff actually. We got some we got a new Nick Shirley video. We'll go through that. And I'm about to segment couple this. We got some funny stuff out of Maine. Oh, what the hell, cat? oh shit. Carl Anthony Towns I'm watching a little wrestling. I'm a little kid. That's why they were coming in here. Anyway, the Odyssey. All right, if y'all been living on the rock and don't know what this movie's about, the Odyssey, this is literally one of the most influential um, books of literature. Well, it was actually a poem, literature known to Western civilization in the world itself. It's the epic Gilgamesh, next to the Bible, next to the Iliad, which is like a contemporary with the Odyssey. So yeah, uh, this is probably like the most controversial. Like this is probably gonna be the most controversial movie this year, next to whatever we're gonna get with Doomsday. It might even outpace it, just because man, Christopher Nolan. This is literally the best and worst of Christopher Nolan at play. The best. I'm gonna go and let me go and give you the rating. My rating. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10, and use it as Christopher Nolan movies 8, 9, maybe a 10 out of 10 when it comes to like Inception or something like that. But Oppenheimer is really close to 10 out of 10 because the acting. So this movie, I do have issues with this movie. I got issues with some of the casting. I don't keep it a buck. I got issues with some of the messaging. I got issues with I'm spoiler alert. This is a grounded take of the Odyssey. Like the Odyssey as the epic, as the fantasy world or whatever. This is this is Christopher Nolan style. Like even with Batman, he grounds the characters to a point where it's believable in the real world. That's what he's trying to do. In this story, he did a lot of that. He went with the Emily Wilson interpretation that she kind of did a new what's the Bible, the international version of the Iliad, the translation. She basically translated. So here's things I do like about it, right? Cinematography is off the chain, you know. He edits. This is classic Nolan how he edits the movie. A lot of the practical effects is just you don't get that too much. Everybody kind of leans solely on CGI on some of these takes. He does the little magic on that. He does a lot of magic on that and whatnot. With the Cyclops scene is that was some people don't like it, but I loved it. Cyclops scene. Some of the scenes where Cersei, it's funny a motherfucker named Cersei, and I forgot what she did to that scene was creepy as hell. Like I think he could do horror, personally. So that if y'all know what happened, Cersei, her thing is she lure people in her house. She changed them to animals and stuff. So that part is great. I appreciate the Trojan Wars, the Trojan horse scenes. It was gritty and stuff. A lot of people it's mixed. So let me go and stipulate like this. There's five. That's about like five rule of thumb groups, I should say, that have issues with this movie one way or the other. You have the normies, which they all love the movie because it's probably one of the best movies they're gonna see since Oppenheimer. You know, so a lot of people are getting into the Odyssey from this movie. They're going to go read the book or the poems or whatever of it. So that's mission accomplished on a Nolan point if you're trying to do that. Then you have the culture warrior side where they see the fact that he cast Lupita as Helen Troy, and he cast formerly Ellen Page, Elliot Page as Sinon, and Sinon's not in not in the Odyssey at all. Like this is an add-on. So it was a big rumor where they thought Elliot Page was gonna play the ghost of Achilles, which would have really made this look bad if he did that. And thank God he didn't do that. And we'll talk more about that scene. So I'll give y'all a heads up on that, man. That might be on a little spoiler side. But then you got the history buffs that they've been debating like what was the meaning of the Odyssey? Is it all fiction? If it's I mean, is it metaphor or something? They've been debating this since the book since the it been discovered as a work of art. That's been an ongoing debate with that scene. And then you have the movie people that's kind of and another thing with the history buffs, the lat they look at him as he's bastardizing the content a little bit. Then you have the movie folks that's just they just a lot of movie folks just they like Nolan's style. It's give or take on that. It's either anti Nolan, they don't like the editing style, and it's pro Nolan. He can't do no wrong types. I'm somewhat in the middle because like I didn't like Tenet. I didn't like some of this early stuff was kind of okay. It was a little pretentious, but now he had so many good things come out. Like Dark Knight Rises was probably one of his worst movies, even though it's memeable as hell. So and then you got you don't have the side of Nolan fans that not Nolan fans but people that don't like Nolan that just think he's overrated in general, and it's not good enough to be the best in this generation. You got to be better than Hitchcock or Stanley Kubrick or some shit. Which is kind of unfair in my opinion. So with that being said, more about the movie. A lot of criticisms been raised on like he didn't use the King's English. A lot of like ancient Greek movies and stuff use the King's in English, Kings and Queen English, depending on who's on the throne. So he used pretty much a modern language for with everybody. To me that I get that I get that criticism. To me, it doesn't take away from the story only because like I know I've heard the King's English version of the Odyssey so many times, like the Kurt Russells and it's been so many Odyssey movies. Personally, I think Odyssey shouldn't be a movie; it should be a show. Personally, like if they did give Odyssey the Game of Thrones budget and just let them go all out. You can have I mean that should be a show to me because like you have the drama between the gods. You got the drama between what was going on in Ithaca. And you got the drama going on with a, de- a de- his party, and then you got a lot of stuff working there like him and Callisto. That the Sharon shut up. I can hold up. Charisse Theron plays her. So off top, best things about this movie: Matt Damon, Robert Pattinson, Tom Holland, and fucking Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway was great in this movie. Um, of course, Matt Damon was great in this movie. Um, Tom Holland hold it down, man. Like he did his job. Like a lot of people are like, well, he just played Tom Holland. I'm like, oh, all right, whatever. But like, yeah, they were good. I gotta give it to them. They were good. Um, man, Matt Damon getting Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway is getting, yeah, they getting nominated. Hold on, I check something. All right, 5 minutes. Right. Anne Hathaway, they get nominated for this movie. Robert Pattinson, he was an asshole, which he's supposed to be. So yeah. All right. Um, some of the takes, right? This is where I'm gonna get a little bit of spoiler territory. Because I'm not gonna do a long drawn out uh review of this. Because it's deep. Some people even hate when you say it's deep. Huh? But Christopher Nolan's take was basically going through the trauma for war, which that's been the take for the Odyssey, like what was really going on in Roman is Ulysses, but in the Greek versus Odysseus, what was going on in Odysseus' mind throughout that whole time? Like Odysseus was the one that gave the idea of doing the Trojan horse thing, the whole Trojan horse trick. So basically, he was dealing with ideas using trickery to take over a whole city back, and then like they made some like the reason why somebody go to war is not always the reason why somebody go to war. You know what I mean? So a little backstory. Trojan War happened during the Bronze Age, which all right. Now you want to criticize some writing or dialogue. People in the Bronze Age is not gonna call the Bronze Age. They're not gonna relate themselves inside the Bronze Age. Like right now, we don't know what age we are in right now. Some would say the digital age, the information age, but who writes what we are is gonna be our the people we leave behind, as in your offspring, generations past. You know what I'm saying? Generations going forward, I should say. Uh, I like this picture. I so this is what they think the Odyssey, what was going on in the Odyssey, pretty much the map and everything. So if you know it really in the Odyssey, the book, you actually see the battle of Troy. You see Achilles, the whole nine. You see all that. They explain why they're going to war, and then it fast forwards towards the Trojan horse situation. No, it fast forward from Achilles dying to the Trojan horse situation, which is a couple years. I think it was like a couple, maybe 2 years span or something like that. I gotta refresh on that. I might have to reread the Odyssey, but yeah, he he come with the idea. They executed, which you're gonna see in the film, and then anytime somebody do make an idea, it's especially in war when you see destruction, when you see something get destroyed, and you see a lot of stuff that you probably didn't want to happen, but your actions made that happen. It's gonna have something. It's gonna do something to you. You know what I'm saying? So I get this interpretation. Um, it kind of hurts. What's the biggest part of this movie that hurts the movie actually? Why I gave it on a 7, not nothing ever higher. I'm giving it more in most of the sevens because I do appreciate the technical aspects of how he did the movie making, as in you know practical tricks when it comes to Cyclops. Some of the costume. Some people have issues with the costumes, but like the the boat scenes it felt real. There's issues with the technical aspects because like it it does come out because he doesn't want to use like CGI to like thicken up pause the crowd a little bit to make it because like the Battle of Troy, that's a whole civilization at Troy's doorstep, and they didn't. We really didn't see that big of a food here. We didn't really see that big of the what I should say, like a crowd or whatever. So it kind of looked it looked smaller in scale in that thing. But the thing is, we're all going with Odysseus' point of view in this, and he's somewhat of a unreliable narrator. So so yeah, this is pretty much the map they all went, the places they went. Cape Malia. That hold on, go to Amaris. That's oh yeah, that's the Cyclops, which is crazy. It's in Greek. It's right there. Then Cape Malia. Dang, they went all the way. Oh yeah, because that storm happened. That's right. So yeah, back. All right, some of the casting choices. One of the problems I do have right is some of the casting choices in my book did take away from the story, right? Because here's a good. This threw me off. I ain't gonna lie. This one threw me off. Where? Let me see if they even show them. They had dude who played Han on Fast and Furious on this movie, which that threw me off. I'm not gonna lie. That threw me off. If I can find it. I don't even know what they. I know Mia. Oh yeah, Mia Goth. That yeah. They didn't even say that Charisse at the Zendaya was Athena. Yeah, why was Will Young Lee? That did not make sense. That threw me off. That didn't make sense to me. Yeah, that threw me off. I'm not gonna lie to you. Bill Irwin played the Cyclops. That's cool. So that my two issues that threw me off. Um, the spoiler when it comes to Helen Troy, not Helen. No, excuse me. Cena. First 5 minutes, Cena dies. Literally, like, which is funny, which is hilarious to me, because like it was really talking. Yeah, they even show it. That's crazy. So yeah, that was fun. That was that in a movie theater. You heard people laughing at that, like, oh shit, because like that was one of the biggest controversies of the whole movie. And of course, Travis Scott, he plays the bard. A lot of people bump heads on that. They don't really like that because I technically didn't have too much issue as much as other people did because one of the things that made Greece as powerful as they became was the fact that they traded everywhere. They was officials and traders and all kinds of stuff, right? So me seeing a bard of like African descent in that area, that necessarily didn't bother me as much as other people. Now, would that be a rarity? Yeah, that probably be a rarity. But like you had merchants and everything going down, all those, especially in the Bronze Age, because like I believe they were trading with Egypt at the time. They were trading with because the main reason for the Trojan War in this movie was to get more trade routes to the east, control the trade routes to the east, which Troy is on a. If you go back on the book, the situation where Troy's in modern Turkey, right there. So that goes all in Asia Minor and stuff. Then you see all the Africa's right there, and they all interact with each other. So what this movie is trying to say in a lot of ways, where because if in this is they interpret this is Christopher Nolan interpretation, and it kind of makes sense if you look at it in a vacuum. A lot of stuff when the fall of Troy happened, a lot of stuff did was happening around the same time because I believe sea people was taking off. Sea people just basically a lot of people like Libyans, like you see. This is modern Libya. This is about actually no, this is like ancient what's it Albania or Tunisia and stuff. Yeah, that's all up there anyway. And down here, like I said, Egypt ain't that far away, and Libya ain't that far away. And you had a lot of people. It was just random people going out doing what they need to do. And he went in it. That's the crazy map. I wonder how true that is. So with that being said, like 7 out of 10. Just oh yeah, my, eh, my I want to say my five biggest gripes in this movie. By the way, there's only one god that shows up in this movie, and that's Athena, and played by Zendaya, and we don't really know if Athena is that was really a god or that was really his guild talking to him. So it's a lot of like it's this a pretty much a cultural Rorschach test going on with this movie, and it's gonna be talked about a lot. Like I believe this movie gonna do pretty well. It's gonna make its budget, which is I mean with the marketing. Yeah, I think matter of fact, I'm looking at the box office. Oh, we ain't gonna really know in the box office till Tuesday anyway. But it's estimated to be like over 200 million overall opening weekend. It's gonna make that. My my theater was packed. I heard a lot of other people in the theater packed. Like Christopher Nolan got that clout to get away with a lot of stuff. So my that no god no only one god that's Athena. It's ironically that's the god they actually Ithaca actually worship because like every city state worship their own deity. Like Athena and hold up. I know Spartan is of course Aries. And a lot of other people, a lot of other like Thebes is want to say not Poseidon, maybe Apollo, I believe. Don't quote me on that. So 7 out of 10. What's hurt this movie is no actual interaction with the gods, which is in the book. That hurts the movie because it's all interpretation, which I see what you're trying to do, but it doesn't because like the Cyclops scene, Cyclops does talk, but we don't know who he's talking to. Like, if y'all know the story, Cyclops is one of Poseidon's kids. So that was one that was one of the reasons why they went end up going through this whole rigmarole in the first place. Let's see. Yeah, uh, so 7 out of 10. Oh yeah, another. I'm trying to remember everything I had to say. Oh yeah, another problem. This you had a feminist edge to it with some of the dialogue, like Cersei's dialogue. Like you had a situation where they came in. His crew, Odysseus' crew came in, not trying. They wanted on the type of time to try to raid and do the whole Viking thing, right? They just wanted to like, hey, can you spare some food or provisions or whatever? So Cersei tricked. she tricked them and made them livestock because that's her power. She's a witch. She that's what she does. And and that's in the story. But the whole there you know, the whole diatribe she had after, like, he was these were like, hey, we weren't trying to do anything crazy and anything like that. She's like, well, you would have. So, like, basically saying that men and they character is to hurt women, which is bullshit. That was bullshit. I mean, so yeah, that oh shit. So yeah, that rubbed me the wrong way. Then of course, like, John Barthol's character, they made him. I mean, that war was kind of crazy going on, having a big old war over Helen and Troy, but they implied that, like, he beat her ass after, because if you know the story of Helen and Troy, she leaves. I forgot that dude name, but she leaves him to go with Paris and you know, get with Paris. So that will open up the door for Agamemnon to wage war against Troy and cast thousands. So basically, the joke was like, we going to war with a chick that left you. So yeah, that's why they were saying she's the most beautiful woman. It kind of deconstruct that. And of course, you know, John Barathar's character, it's implied that he whooped her ass after that. And it showed, you know, it showed are you in ancient world, are you really winning when you win a war? So I don't know if I really like that. I'm not, you know, tell you the truth, I don't really like that. Just because of they got the Dogs cast, Argus. And I didn't like the Argus thing either. Like, yeah, I don't like mistreatment of dogs, man. I'm keep it a bug. I don't really like that. I'm a dog dude. So yeah, the technical aspects in the acting pushes movie to 7. If, like, let's say, if either three of those people didn't act worth a damn in this movie, right? I would be you know, I would really be knocking this movie down a couple more pegs. But their acting was so good in my opinion, especially Matt Damon. Matt Damon and Anne Hathaway. And Tom Holland did his job. Yeah, I mean, it's Tom Holland, like, Anne Hathaway and Matt Damon probably got, well, let me say, that's like 8 out of 10 performances. Tom Hardy probably got like a 6 or 7. You know what I mean? He came and did his job. He was convincing, even though, like, everybody said, well, he don't really have too much range. You know, he did his job in this. That's why all I was asking. So yeah, I'm trying to, the ending. That's I'm not gonna say what the ending is. If you know the book, you know the book. There is it's a little play on, it's classic Nolan endings. And that's gonna be the main thing that keeps the debate alive. This is gonna make it replay value, you know, because a lot of people a lot of reviewers already saw it twice to how to Savage Day. I need to see it one more time just to make sure I can look at it more critically. But hey, that's that. 7 out of 10, and let's transition. No pun intended, by the way, on that. Oh yeah. So we going on some news shit right now. We going on some news shit. So Trump, matter of fact, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I don't have to do an intermission. Hold up.
The following program is rated TV MALV. It contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audience.
All right, I'm back. All right, had to go get my food out of there. So Trump had a big announcement Thursday night. I was at the movies at the time watching before I said Odyssey. So this is a little bit of part of it. It's a lot of stuff going on here. Let's read.
Tonight, I'm asking the FBI director to ensure that the matter is fully investigated and to work with the Department of Justice to prosecute those responsible for any crimes. Finally, to reveal just how vulnerable our
As high as I
elections
can get.
continue to be, we are releasing the results of a stunning investigation by the Department of Homeland Security. According to the DHS review, state voter rolls and public records, they identified approximately 278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections. Since Democrat states refuse to share their voter files, the real number is actually much higher than that. Yet, even this limited analysis found more than 250,000 foreigners illegally registered to vote. Put together, these disclosures reveal an election system so broken and so vulnerable that no one can possibly defend it. It is not defensible. Hundreds of millions of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments.
I got more information on that too, by the way.
Machines and ballot counting systems are exposed to hacking and manipulation and corruption. China and other countries have been trying to meddle in our elections. Evidence of fraud has been buried. Hundreds of thousands of non-citizens and dead people are listed and active on the voter rolls. And yet we still have elections with no voter ID, no proof of citizenship, and tens of millions of ballots floating aimlessly through the mail. As one example of the insanity, California's recent election for mayor of LA and governor was held on June 2nd, a long time ago, but it was just completed a few days ago on July 10th. Think of that, much more than 1 month. Took a month to count the votes. I wonder what they were doing. This is worse than any third world country. There's no third world country that has elections like we have. In a rare move, NBC and ABC Fake News have both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about because of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they know how corrupt our system is and they don't want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses. They use our public multi-billion-dollar in value airways for absolutely no money. They pay nothing. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting. They pay nothing for
Yeah, that's insane, but hey, yeah, that's insane.
billion-dollar assets. Great damage has been done to our country. Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen, and the trust of the American people was lost. This cannot be allowed to continue. Every American, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or otherwise, should be able to agree that we deserve the most secure, honest, and fair election system anywhere in the world. Secure elections should be a partisan, we should be together. Democrats, Republicans, Independents, everybody. And it should not be a partisan issue. It should cause to unite us, not to divide us. This should be a cause. We should be united, not divided. In light of the brand new and irrefutable information I have revealed tonight, my administration is in the process of notifying the states whose election data was compromised by the People's Republic of China.
Oh, yeah, it's some stuff with that too. Check. Oh, hold on. All right, that should sound better.
And many others. We will be working closely to mitigate any harm, and we're taking swift action to ensure that sensitive voter data is better protected so we can never be bought, we can never be hacked, and we can never watch a stolen election again. Tomorrow, the Secretary of Homeland Security will hold a briefing to outline his department's recent work confirming cyber vulnerabilities in our electronic voting systems. They are bad. We're in the process of informing governors, senators, and members of Congress of potential issues in their states. If you look at voting today, it's in such bad shape in so many states,
Mm-hmm.
and we are committing to fix it. And we're also committing to be working with those states and local jurisdictions to help them fix and patch known technical vulnerabilities before the midterm elections. We have very important elections coming up.
All right, a little bit of what he was saying. So apparently, this one lives to TikTok. China compromised the voter rolls of 18 states: Alaska, Arkansas, Colorado, Connecticut, District of Columbia, Florida, which is crazy because Florida's deep red now. Georgia, Iowa, Kansas, Maryland, Michigan, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, and Rhode Island. Here you go. In May 2026, President Trump created the Government Transparency Task Force within the White House Executive Office of the President for the purpose of advising him through the counsel to the president on the documents that should be declassified. Oh yeah, they basically talking about declassification. It basically saying that it basically reiterating that. So yeah, that just went down. Then you got this. Hold up. So former FBI official Nikki Flores, quote, I'm basically running shadow government across the FBI at this point. So she actually works at Microsoft now, man. So if you want, it's crazy. I got a Windows 11 PC, so I gotta chill out, man. They out here. Microsoft let engineers based in China access the Pentagon's sensitive military systems. Biden deputy AG who ran the Trump witch hunts is now also the senior official at Microsoft. Oh shit, that's crazy. So, of course, Promethean action got a take on this. Let's see what she got to say.
A Democratic senator let slip what was really at stake.
The other thing that we blocked yesterday was the SAVE Act, right? Which was literally allow this administration to rig our democracy so that it would be hard for any Democrat in any state to win any election.
There you have Senator Alyssa Slotkin, nominally from Michigan, but really channeling her CIA training, admitting that her party can't win if the U.S. adopts the kind of voter identification laws that most of the other civilized nations in the world use. That's why President Trump addressed the nation on Thursday to motivate passage of the Save America Act. Of course, that speech has set the hair on fire of the entire anti-Trump universe. But what almost no one noticed is that on the same day, Both the Secretary of State and the Secretary of the Treasury stood at a different podium and announced the other half of the story, the half that isn't about ballots at all.
I didn't hear this.
I'm Susan Kokinda. I've followed the imperial assault on our country from the strategic mountaintop to the election integrity trenches in Michigan, which is why I know what Donald Trump did on Thursday was masterful. If you want to follow how this unfolds, hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. Here's what I'm covering today.
Yeah, follow this. He's really good, man. Like I be learning game from Promethean Action. There's a whole other couple of them I be finding game on, but she knows what she's talking about.
First, the cover-up the president flushed into the open, and the two ways the enemies tried to bury it again on the same night. Second, how the Michigan case study makes the president's point. And third, the bombshells that Rubio and Bessent dropped and how that completes the picture.
By the way, I got some Nick and the Nick Shirty thing gonna go with the Rubio and Bessent situation. Let's read.
So let's start with President Trump.
No country can be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard. Tonight, I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence, revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure.
Now, the fire hose of details is going to dominate the news about China, 220 million voter files, hacked systems, non-citizens on the payroll, and other vulnerabilities. People with more time than I have are going to parse every page of the now declassified documents, and that's important. But don't get drowned in the details. That wasn't the president's main purpose anyway. The importance of what he did on Thursday was to drag the cover-up into the daylight. That's what he wants you to see, that officials inside our own intelligence agencies work to keep the China findings away from the president and away from you. One FBI official even boasted that she was running a, quote, shadow government.
I just went over that.
Intelligence.
Yeah, I just went over that one. That last story I just showed y'all.
Buried. Let that sink in. The shadow government hiding a threat to our electoral processes. And this isn't really Democrat or Republican. It's a permanent apparatus that serves the modern empire. Well, the next morning, Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullins put it bluntly.
There's no question the intelligence community from the FBI, CIA, and even other places within DHS, not underneath President Trump's leadership, but that was underneath the Biden administration, kept it from President Trump and the American people in Congress. Everybody that purposely misled the American people, abused their power and their authority, and decided not to continue doing their job will be held accountable.
Now, Mullins was talking about those past cover-ups, but you actually saw how this works in real time, because there's two ways to bury something. You can wave it off as nothing, or you can make sure nobody sees it. And on Thursday, they did both. Here's the first. Senator Mark Warner, the top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, said, "That was an embarrassing speech with no new info, just lies and rehashed conspiracy."
Here's the thing, man. If you ever want people to not, it's easy just to say, "Oh well, you lying. You lying. Hey, that's no new proof. That's no new thing. You show proof. Well, that's not proof. That's not evidence. That don't do nothing. That don't do nothing. What do you mean by that? Well, you show more proof. Well, that doesn't do anything either. But like I said, it's 1,000 cuts. Keep showing stuff. They always gonna boo-booing, because the reality is they need to keep the system what they have intact, because it's their apparatus. It's the one way they're gonna keep power or whatever. So they always they got incentivized. They're incentivized to never go against the grain.
It's incumbent on all of us not to treat that like real news. No new info. This is the same Mark Warner who spent years on the Russiagate case.
Yep.
When the accused foreign actor was Russia, Warner demanded investigations, hearings, intelligence briefings, years of media coverage, and capped
Yep.
it all off with a 5-volume report. When the alleged foreign actor is China, he says the president revealed essentially nothing. Nothing to see here, folks. But saying nothing to see here only works on the people who saw it. So here's the second way you bury a story. You decide they shouldn't see it. ABC, NBC, and CNN decided not to show the president's primetime address on foreign interference in American elections. Remember how that topic dominated the news cycle for the entirety of Trump's first?
Yep. And basically, it kept him from getting a lot of stuff he was trying to implement in play. Then once he got grasp of that, and everybody figured out it was some BS. Now here comes the the whole 2020 situation. You know what I mean? So it's a catch-22. That's what they trying. Now they don't want to show anything when it's its benefit.
Term. Instead, ABC ran a game show, and NBC ran Tom Hanks narrating a nature documentary about alligators in a Gulf Coast swamp. Secretary Mullins again drilled down on the importance of this.
So ABC and NBC not carrying that, why? What are they trying to cover up? Why wouldn't they want to inform the American people? Why are they calling themselves a news outlet if they're not actually trying to put the news out there? The president wasn't trying to relitigate what happened in 2020, although he definitely could at this point. The president was getting facts. What we have exposed, what the Biden administration covered up, what the intelligence community held from the American people, Congress, and the executive branch.
Yep.
And we're putting it out there. And yet, 2 major networks didn't want to cover it. I think the question really should say why.
And see, here's a crazy thing. Let's say the Republicans get wise to this and say, all right, y'all don't want to play ball, y'all want to act fool, and they start using some of their strategy. Yeah, like they will use the media, they use every apparatus. Say, look how the Republican cheating. Look at this, look at that. See, we deal with somebody that's not, especially now. Where I'm gonna get on the other side, man. What they bringing up now is crazy.
That's it right there. The president wasn't trying to relitigate what happened in 2020. He was exposing a cover-up of vulnerabilities to our electoral processes. And the self-appointed guardians of democracy decided a game show was more important. Well,
Crazy.
you won't find game shows or nature documentaries on Promethean action, on and on. Many were expecting him to drop big bombshells about Fulton County, Georgia. He pointed somewhere else. And when he started talking about Muskegon, Michigan, I sat up and took notice. I was active with the Michigan Fair Elections Group when the Muskegon story broke, and I sat on many conference calls as it developed. Here's what happened. In the fall of 2020, the city clerk in Muskegon started receiving thousands of new voter registrations when the city usually receives around 250. Over 8,000 new registrations were delivered by an outfit called GBI Strategies, a company contracted by major Democratic groups to the tune of millions of dollars in the 2020 election cycle. The clerk noticed identical handwriting on the signatures on many of the registrations and called the authorities.
Let's see. Let me look at this. GBI Industries, a Democrat Party aligned voter registration and get out the vote organization. During the 2020 election cycle, GBI Strategies received payments of $4,691,623 from Democratic aligned campaigns and committees, including 2.1 million from the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, DS 1.1 million from DNC, and 450,000 from the 2020 presidential campaign of Joe Biden. In 2023, GBI Strategies was reported to have been investigated by Michigan State Police for its alleged association with allegedly fraudulent voter registration submissions in Muskegon County, Michigan. As a part of the investigation, MSP seized evidence related to GBI strategies at its Southfield location. MSP ultimately determined that it could not find any successful fraudulent voter registration applications associated with GBI strategies. In a Michigan State Police public information officer told Newsweek they made no arrest from that. Oh yeah, they probably got rid of all of that. Let's read.
Investigators raided GBI's offices in Michigan, seized prepaid gift cards, company records, and 5 semi-automatic rifles with suppressors and 5 customized pistols. No one ever explained the artillery. But what happened to the investigation? It got handed over to the Biden FBI and buried. That's what the president wants you to see. Not proof that changes the outcome of 2020, but the methods that were used and then covered up. Well, Donald Trump is now putting the biggest spotlight in the world on this entire apparatus, and Secretary Mullins made clear that the full enforcement and prosecution powers of the U.S. government will now be deployed against it. Now, remember what Alyssa Slotkin said at the outset? If you can't run elections the way the Democrats have been running them, we'll never win again. Well, that's the motive, stated out loud. Rigging the vote is the first lever. But when that won't do the job, the empire reaches for a second lever. And that is exactly why Rubio and Bessent were standing at that other podium on Thursday.
I want to hear this.
So, a few hours before the president spoke on Thursday, the State Department convened what they called a ministerial on the resurgence of political terrorism. 60 nations were focused on the danger of left-wing terrorism. I'll get to Secretary Rubio's main speech in a moment, but to see where it all fits in, you need to hear what Scott Bessent said first.
And before I proceed, I'm going to go off script for a minute, which is always dangerous, but I'm going to remind everyone in this room and all the media that I was the subject of an assassination attempt February 2024 by an adult left-wing activist 2 hours after being sworn into my job. So any of you who want to report that this is a fiction and does not exist, be there for the sentencing this August.
Ooh.
This is the other half of the story.
Ooh.
How does an imperial elite take over nations? Well, they can rig elections, but they can also do it by removing the people who will challenge their policies.
Yep.
People like Scott Bessent, people like Donald Trump. Keep that in mind as you listen to Secretary Rubio, who cataloged some of the previous victims of political left-wing terror.
You remember the machine gun massacres of Italy's Red Brigades, which held a 5-time prime minister captive for 55 days before subjecting him to a revolutionary so-called people's trial and executing him in 1978. You remember the Red Army faction's nearly 3-decade campaign of bombings, kidnappings, and assassinations in Germany, murdering dozens and injuring hundreds more.
Rubio didn't name the names, but I will. That Italian prime minister was Aldo Moro, the most powerful politician in Italy at the time, killed at the exact moment he was building a stable, self-governing Italy, when the whole imperial game depended on keeping Italy weak and divided. But it's the German assassinations that Rubio mentioned where you see the real pattern. In November of 1989, shortly after the fall of the Berlin Wall, a close ally of the German chancellor was assassinated. Alfred Herrhausen, the chairman of Deutsche Bank, was killed by a roadside bomb so sophisticated that the case has never been solved to this day. Why him? He was building a plan to rebuild Poland's industry using a national reconstruction bank with directed long-term credit for factories and infrastructure. He was also calling for third world debt relief. None of that was in the globalist plan. And Herrhausen's policies were similar to the American system policies now being revived by this administration. 2 years later, in April of 1991, Detlev Rohrader was assassinated by the same left-wing terrorist group. He was a steel man trying to restructure East German factories and save them. After he was killed, the factories were asset stripped by financial parasites, and about 4 million jobs in East Germany disappeared. In both cases, the builder is removed, and the policy that follows comes right out of the imperial business model. That's not a coincidence, that's a pattern.
That's crazy.
Morrow, Herrhausen, Rovader, all committed to political and economic sovereignty for their nations. Rubio also mentions other left-wing terrorist formations, like Peru's Sendero Luminoso, which killed tens of thousands and explicitly targeted engineers and agronomists and Peru's infrastructure. Secretary Rubio drew the right conclusion.
It has always been driven by a hatred. Above all else, a hatred for civilization itself. It is a revolt of the worst against the best, a revolt of the weak and the cowardly against the strong and the good. It is perpetrated by those who cannot build, who cannot create, who cannot achieve great things.
He just didn't name the names of the greater men. I did. So step back and look at the two podiums together, the way your social media feeds never will. The empire has only ever had two levers to overturn the verdict of a free people.
Yep.
Corrupt elections or kill the leaders who threaten their system. Rig the ballot or remove the builder. And in a single day, this administration moved against both. At the first podium, the president dragged the election cover-up into the daylight and made the people who buried it show themselves. Mark Warner in words, the networks in darkness. At the second podium, the Secretary of State put the history of political assassinations on the world stage, and the Treasury Secretary dared the press to look at it.
That's a cold move, man. So he getting sentenced in what you call it. Yeah, that's crazy. And I didn't hear about Scott Besson getting death threats and everything. I didn't hear that, but that's yeah. We'll hear about that sentencing Thursday. Thursday, August. I'm definitely gonna go over that. So let me move that right here. Speaking of the left, let's do this. I'm a little distracted right now. I apologize. So this is why we need voter ID. This is why we need to really be on guard on all this stuff. The Senate, y'all need to vote y'all local elections. This is crazy. Like, all right, 103. So anybody tell you why you voting against your own self-interest if you don't vote for the left? This is what the left has to provide right now. Let's read.
So what qualifications do you have to serve in the U.S. Senate?
Oh, I ran for office several times. Didn't win, but I did run. And then I'm a songwriter, and then I write my own books. And then I suppose my transparency, I wouldn't lie to the people, and I wouldn't deceive the people like we're being deceived right now. Like,
you won't lie to people, you won't deceive the people, but you kind of deceiving yourself. Let me shut up.
we get lied, smoke and mirrors, like what's going on with ICE, pretending like these victims did something wrong. Like, that's unacceptable. And I suppose the biggest thing is, like, I'm just an angry citizen now, and if I got elected, I'd be an angry senator, and I think that would probably be their worst nightmare.
Actually, what qualifications do you
Oh man, this is just too good. So last night, little spoiler alert. Last night I went over this. I watched this video with some of my gaming buddies, and it's literally a dude on my gaming, like on my gaming channel, Discord channel. We go on, sound just like him. So I asked him, I said, man, did you take? I'm like, are you running for Senate? Man, yeah, it's hilarious. So this has been the biggest meme in politics right now. Cause like he just a big old dude with that goddamn sundress on, man. I'm not trying to be mean. This is hilarious to me. Man, look, show all your Democratic friends like what's going on with this. We need answers. We got questions. We need answers. So, and here's Hassan. This just dropped today, so I haven't listened to all this. But let's see what he got to say.
I don't want a Republican to ever win another election ever again.
That means he want big old dudes and sundresses to win.
And unless we create a viable alternative, a real opposition to these nefarious, malignant forces in American politics, there will always be a 2-year or a 4-year trade-off or a 6-year trade-off. Okay? Where power exchanges hands and people grow disillusioned and more apathetic.
I'm not disillusioned. I pretty much got an understanding how this all supposed to work. You know, I'm not disillusioned. I don't think a lot of people that follow me are disillusioned. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping.
About voting for any candidate whatsoever. That is how we got to Donald Trump. I want that to change. Matt Iglesias gets paid to ensure that that change never takes place. That's the difference. I don't want a strong Republican Party. I want no Republican Party.
And you want grown men in dresses going into women's bathrooms and all that stuff. I got you. So that's what that's pretty much what the right is up against. I ain't gonna say we fully because I'm pretty libertarian, but yeah, you got this, and then you got Hassan Piker saying what he's saying. Yeah, I deal with that. Speaking, oh man, The View's Sonny Hostin gets exposed for going full elitist privilege mode to absolve her son from facing legal consequences for trespassing. All right, let's read. I saw the whole thing on this earlier, but this is crazy to me. She put a Karen to the police officer.
Put your hands behind your back for a second. Hey, what's going on?
Tell them your mother is a federal prosecutor. It's fine. Are you arresting my son?
What do you mean?
What happens if you're like, oh, I would like to write this?
Well, you know, we have cameras everywhere. Normally, it's a misdemeanor charge. We're dumbing it down to a violation. Okay. I know you're upset.
I'm a former federal prosecutor.
Yeah.
He knows. He's a Harvard grad who teaches 4th grade geometry to his kids.
God bless.
This is not a kid who's ever in trouble.
Put your hands behind your back for a second. Hey, what's going on?
Look, man, it's just a fucking ticket. Just a ticket. Oh man, and she want to talk about, and like I said, if they were really on that type of time, he trespassed. They could have went roughed him up really bad, man. If they wanted to, trespassing. So yeah, and I might save the Nick Shirley thing. No, I'm gonna save the Nick Shirley thing for Monday. I think this I've been here an hour. I think this deserves probably 2 hours. Man, it's a 53-minute video. And it's more broad shit. So I'm gonna say that for Monday. Hey, y'all, I'm done. I'm pretty much done, man. Yeah, y'all like, share, and subscribe. I'm about to eat my food. And I'm pretty happy about this. I went through the Odyssey thing. I gotta make a on edit that. And went through the stuff I missed on Thursday. And appreciate everybody who come in. Y'all like, share, and subscribe, man. Leave a comment on the video. And matter of fact, if y'all see the hype thing, man, hype me up a little bit, man. I really appreciate that. But hey, till next time, probably Monday night. It's gonna be more stuff Monday night, but hey, appreciate everybody coming through and have a good night.